Alright, so let's talk about nice guy behaviors and what the typical nice guy doesn't understand about dating and attraction. And I know what some of you are thinking. Nice guy, that's not me. I'm confident, I'm successful, and I don't let people walk all over me. But the thing is that nice guy behaviors aren't always obvious. And even confident, successful men can fall into subtle habits that quietly kill attraction. And that's because some of the habits that feel normal and natural to you could actually be working against you without you realizing it. And you don't have to be shy or a pushover to fall into nice guy patterns. So in this video, I'll show you exactly what a lot of nice guy behaviors are and where they stem from so you can understand how to fix them. So the first thing to understand is that being nice isn't necessarily the problem. It's the motivation behind it, and it's the man that it's coming from. When you see a masculine man, you just know it. There's an aura that guy gives off, and it creates this feeling that you just can't push this dude around, and he's not a weak guy that is going to bend to those around him. He has his own way of living life, and his confidence stems from his own self-assurance that he's living life on his terms, and his boundaries are ruthlessly enforced. He speaks with conviction, and there's just this inherent feeling that this guy means what he says, and he's not the one to play with. And don't get that confused with being an asshole either, because a guy can have all of those qualities and still be good to people. A lot of nice guys get mad and think that the solution is to genuinely be an asshole and treat women like trash, but that's not the solution. It's not this black and white thing where you have to be a dirtbag to be respected by women and seen as masculine. But a nice guy is the opposite of the masculine man, and it only takes a second or two to get a vibe of who is a nice guy. There's just a certain feminine energy that a nice guy gives off, and you can tell that he lacks strength, and you can tell that he doesn't do well with women, and he doesn't have any backbone. A nice guy just doesn't have his own code and way of living, so he's easily moved off center, and he's usually doing whatever it takes to keep the peace and avoid conflict, especially with women. The nice guy's behavior is more in line with a feminine woman's polarity, and that's why it kills sexual attraction. When you're giving off feminine energy and being passive, seeking approval, or afraid of conflict, you are literally repelling her feminine energy, because she can't submit to a man who is already in a submissive position. Women aren't attracted to men who mirror their own feminine energy. They're attracted to a masculine polarity that inspires the woman to want to submit and follow his lead all on her own. And that is essentially the essence of true, raw, genuine desire from a woman. Now, going back to showing kindness, a masculine man that women find attractive chooses kindness on his own terms, and it comes from a position of strength. It's a choice that they make without expecting anything in return, and it's not a tool to get something or something that they do out of fear or people pleasing like the nice guy often does. But let's break down where nice guy behaviors come from so you can address the root cause. Now, nice guy behavior is tricky because it is the type of behavior that is most commonly taught to us by society. And here's what makes this insidious. In many cases, the guy who thinks that he's being nice isn't actually nice at all. It's more of a form of manipulation because you're stuck in a mode of being passive and operating out of fear and scarcity. You're essentially trying to trade good behavior for attraction. You're being extra nice, extra helpful, extra available, and hoping that she'll feel obligated to give you attraction or affection in return. And that's not genuine, and women can sense it from a mile away. They have a sixth sense for this kind of thing. But with that said, let me make an important distinction here. Women don't dislike nice behavior. They dislike men who use niceness as their only tool because they're afraid to do anything else, or they're not capable of anything else. So think of it like business. You respect someone who can confidently walk away from a bad deal more than someone who just accepts anything. The same thing applies to attraction. Women respect and trust men who choose to be nice from a position of strength, and not those who are nice because they feel like they have to be in order to get what they want. And true desire from a woman can only be achieved when you as the man are genuinely willing to walk away if the situation doesn't suit you, because you value yourself and you understand your own value. This is one of the reasons why nice guy behavior kills attraction. It communicates that you're not willing or able to walk away, or in other words, you don't value yourself, so why would she? If you have the ability to disagree with her without fear, set boundaries, or walk away when you need to, suddenly your genuine kindness becomes more powerful and meaningful because she knows that's not the only thing that you're capable of, or that you have to do it to get someone to like you. And society often teaches men to suppress authenticity in favor of being polite and keeping the peace. And this is something expected in the workplace, but ingrains a lot of bad habits when it comes to dating. Because women value authenticity over polished politeness or you trying to be perfect. And these habits make attraction feel counterintuitive, especially for men that have been more focused on their careers over their social lives. And this is why a lot of guys are struggling with dating. The skills that got them success in their career or in school actively sabotage them with women. And the traits that make you a great employee or businessman are often the exact opposite of what creates raw attraction. You have to unlearn a lot of these habits to succeed with women. And suppressing your thoughts and desires comes across as less genuine, and women pick up on that lack of authenticity and timidity to express yourself. Nice guys are especially guilty of this. But another issue with nice guy behaviors are that they're just highly inefficient and energy draining on your end. And the reason I say that is because if you have a lot of nice guy habits, then you're naturally going to overshoot things a lot, like I was saying before. You will naturally overinvest into girls by doing things like texting too much, spending too much money, yapping on, saying too much, and just putting in way more effort than she is. Nice guy behaviors just drain you mentally and financially while getting nothing in return. And look, any investment in a woman should be earned through her actions and her level of investment, not given up front hoping for her attraction. Because when you invest more than she does, you're not only wasting your time, energy, and resources, you're actually causing yourself to become more attached while she becomes less attracted. Your investment is actually the thing that's making you like her more and more, and it's causing you to become more attached because we naturally value what we invest in. So while you're getting more emotionally invested through your efforts, she's viewing you as lower value because you're giving too much without her earning it through her efforts, and you're exceeding her level of investment. And then from there's an imbalance when she doesn't reciprocate that, and then you're just left wondering why the attraction faded on her side. Another major issue is the rescuer or hero mindset. Nice guys often think about how they can improve a woman's life, be her hero, or love her more than anyone else has. And this makes you think of what you can give or provide her instead of your value and who you are as a man. This mindset kills attraction for two reasons. First, it immediately puts you in a low value position because you're basically saying, I need to give you things because who I am as a man isn't enough all on its own. And this is completely backwards because you're essentially trying to attract her by showing her that you'd be a good provider. But listen to me carefully when I say this. If you want a relationship, you need to create sexual attraction first, then let her earn any boyfriend qualities from you over time. Nice guys try to negotiate desire by showcasing boyfriend traits up front, and that's backwards. You want to create raw attraction first, then let her be the one pushing for more. And women will actively pursue commitment from a man who triggers their genuine desire, but they'll friend zone or use a guy who leads with provider qualities. Nice guys try to prove that they're boyfriend material first, and then they hope to create sexual attraction, which brings us back to a cardinal sin of attraction, which is trying to negotiate attraction, which isn't possible. Second, it flips the dynamic. Instead of evaluating if she meets your standards, you're trying to prove yourself worthy of her. You become the one chasing approval instead of the one giving it. It stems from a faulty mindset that isn't aligned with reality and what triggers attraction in a woman. And it's important to remember that more effort with a woman does not always equal more or better results, and in many cases, less is more. It also puts a spotlight on the transactional nature of your nice guy behaviors. Between the material objects you offer and the nice guy behaviors behind them, the woman will start to feel like you're negotiating good behavior tokens for her attraction, and this is one of the fastest ways to turn a woman's genuine desire off. And don't get me wrong, plenty of women will still take those objects and favors and leverage your nice guy behaviors for their own benefits, but they won't have genuine desire for you because there's an inherent disgust when interacting with men that behave in that way. Now, most importantly, the reason to get rid of the hero or rescuer mindset is that women don't need saving, and they value what they earn more than what's freely given to them. They are capable adults who can make their own money and decisions, and when you overinvest early and try to be her hero, you're not giving her enough space to wonder about you and invest her own energy into you. Some of you guys out there are literally treating these women like they're actual damsels in distress, and then you're absolutely shattered when you find out that she's seeing other guys. Understand that women need space for their attraction and love to grow, and you'll be better off if she's chasing your approval. Remember that the person doing more pursuing automatically becomes more invested, so it's critical to check yourself and stop this type of nice guy behavior when you notice it rising up inside of you. And on the topic of mindset, the battle of nice guy behaviors begins and ends in the mind. It all revolves around reframing your mindset and understanding what communicates value with women or what detracts from your value as a man. men. And remember that attraction isn't based on the things that you can give, your efforts, or your virtue. And here's what nice guys really need to understand. Sex appeal is king, sexual attraction is king, and everything else is secondary. Women don't want to sleep with you because you're just some super loyal nice guy who tries really hard. They want to sleep with you because of things like your masculine polarity, your sex appeal, your non-reactive presence, your sexual confidence, social calibration, raw masculine energy, and more. There are multiple specific traits that fall under these categories, but the bigger point to understand for now is that you being nice, polite, and accommodating does not equal sexual attraction, so drill that into your head. Instead, it's about hitting the attraction triggers in a woman that makes her feel on a biological level that she wants to mate with this man who's in front of her. And no woman has ever sat there and said, wow, this guy seems so nice and needy, I want to sleep with him. So it's crucial to reframe your mind to understand what actually matters with conveying value when it comes to attraction, rather than what you think should convey value. And this is why the broke artist who embodies those masculine traits can generate more raw attraction and sexual desire with women than the wealthy nice guy who lacks those traits and is viewing things through the lens of what he thinks women will find attractive versus the reality of what they actually find attractive. And one more thing is that if you're a nice guy, that nice guy energy follows you everywhere. And that's why it's funny to me when guys say that dating apps don't work or that they'll just go approach in real life instead, because you're still carrying that nice guy energy in real life. It's the same result regardless of how you're presented to women. So if you're a masculine man that triggers sexual attraction in women, that will happen whether it's online or in person. And nice guys get targeted for the material and emotional resources that they can provide, whereas masculine attractive men get targeted for genuine raw sexual desire, and that creates the foundation for whatever that man wants next. So think about that for a second. Nice guys are getting used for attention, validation, and resources, while the attractive masculine guys are getting genuine sexual desire and for far less effort. The nice guy is texting her good morning every day and buying her dinner while she's hooking up with the guy who barely texts her at all. And man, do I have stories about that. But it's not just about the money or the effort. It's about the energy that you project and whether you trigger her sexual desire or not. And one of the things that can really bring out nice guy behavior is focusing too much on a woman's beauty. So a simple mindset shift you can make is to focus on a few traits that have nothing to do with a woman's looks. And then when you're about to go on a date with this woman or talk to her, instead of thinking about how to appear attractive to her, think about how you hope that she has the qualities that you're looking for, and this will instantly have you viewing her through a different lens. Now, one more thing on the subject of mindset, because I want to address the idea of changing yourself, because I see comments that misinterpret these concepts all the time. And not just on this channel, but others as well, and the internet as a whole when these discussions are going on. A common complaint is to see guys saying things like, I'm not changing who I am for a woman, or all of this stuff is just telling us to be fake. And then you'll see guys giving advice that say things like, well, you should just be yourself, dude. That's what works best anyway. The problem with the just be yourself advice is that it doesn't help guys who struggle with women at all. If a guy is in a state where he has no idea how to trigger attraction, or he has self-image issues where he hates himself and has low confidence, then telling him to just be himself is the worst possible advice that you could give that guy. Because the truth is that if you're not getting results, what feels natural to you is often just a comfort zone that's keeping you stuck. The truth is that women aren't actually that complicated, but your emotions get in the way and you do what feels right to you rather than what actually works. You're doing what you want to do rather than what you should do. And sometimes what you're doing is just flat out wrong. And if you're not getting results, that's a clear signal that your way just isn't working. This isn't about being fake, it's about evolving into a more attractive version of yourself. Just like you had to learn to drive a car, you need to learn the skills around attracting and maintaining attraction with women. And at first it may feel mechanical and take conscious thought, but eventually it becomes your new authentic default that you don't even think about. Because the guy who's good with women isn't constantly thinking about these principles. He's internalized them to where they're just a part of who he is. So in a nutshell, understand that you can remain your authentic self in terms of your beliefs, interests, and values while still evolving into a man who better understands attraction and connects the dots to get the results that you want. The two are not mutually exclusive. And another key thing here is that the goal isn't perfection, it's about progress. You'll still have moments where you slip into old patterns and that's normal, but over time you'll catch yourself faster and you won't make the same mistakes again. But let's talk about more of the nice guy behaviors that consistently destroy attraction with women. And one of the biggest and most common I see all the time with clients is eagerness. Things like projecting more excitement than the girl in conversation, over texting, or trying too hard to win her over. There's a lot of ways that eagerness can show up. And I've seen nice guys plan over the top first dates at some fancy restaurant, pull up in a nice car to impress her, or blow money on expensive concerts, stuff like that. And doing all of that before even knowing if she's genuinely interested. And this level of eagerness doesn't impress women. They will instantly sniff out the desperation that you're conveying, and some will just take advantage of the situation and ghost you after getting what you offered. So a simple solution is just to slow everything down. Keep first dates simple and low cost, send 1 text instead of 3, build a genuinely busy life to where she needs to fit into your schedule and not the other way around. And you guys gotta stop with the romantic gestures and flowery messages, especially when she's not giving you anything back. I see guys thinking that they're being smooth and flirty while the woman is sending cold, basic responses or straight up ghosting. You're not being romantic or slick, you're just showing desperation and a complete inability to read obvious signals. So never exceed her level of investment. If she's giving you short replies, you don't respond with paragraphs. If she's not investing or flirting with you, stop trying to flirt with her or planning some nice date. Match her energy, or better yet, stay slightly below it. Because you need to learn to read her actual interest level and never exceed it with your investment, which comes with time and experience going through a lot of conversations with women. But some other common nice guy habits include traits like over-explaining yourself, rationalizing women's behavior, and having weak boundaries overall. Over-explaining is a major attraction killer that a lot of guys don't think about, and it screams insecurity and gives off a feminine vibe, and nice guys do this all the time without realizing it. So, for example, a nice guy might find himself in a situation where a girl asks why he took so long to respond or where he was at, and a typical nice guy response would be trying to justify himself to the girl and giving off this desperate vibe and need to explain himself, which comes from a fear of judgment and seeking approval. But you don't owe anyone an explanation for your actions. Make statements without justification and just stand on your decisions. Again, less is often more. And rationalizing women's behavior is one of the most dangerous traps that nice guys fall into over and over again. If a girl takes 12 hours to respond and is being short, or she shows clear attitude problems, but you tell yourself things like, oh, she's just busy and stressed right now, or, you know, she had a tough childhood, or her ex was a dick to her, and things will just get better if I treat her right. Things like this are just all wrong, and this mindset comes from a scarcity mindset where you're so invested in the idea that this girl is special that you'll explain away red flags just to keep her around even if she doesn't respect you. And trust me, if you feel that tingle in your gut telling you that something isn't right, then listen to it. Your gut is usually picking up on things that your mind doesn't want to believe. And remember, you won't have to rationalize a quality woman's behavior. When a woman is genuinely interested and respects you, her actions will be clear. In a similar vein, nice guys are notorious for having weak boundaries, which goes hand in hand with the rationalization trap. Nice guys typically have this pattern where they'll have a boundary in their mind of certain things that they won't tolerate, but then when a woman will cross that line, they'll start to move that line back a bit more rather than enforcing it. And if you're a nice guy, you might tell yourself something like, well, maybe I was just being too rigid or too hard on her with that. And then the line continues to move back more and more because you become used to folding under pressure, and then you're operating in scarcity to some degree where you'd rather compromise your boundaries and self-respect rather than lose this woman. And this is where we come full circle. Remember what I said earlier about genuine desire only existing when a man is willing to walk away? Well, your boundaries are where this principle gets tested. Every time you compromise a boundary because you're afraid of losing her, you're communicating that you're not actually willing to walk away. And without that willingness, genuine desire and passion becomes impossible because she doesn't respect you. And a woman's love and affection is based on her level of respect for you and her perception of your strength. So think about it. How can a woman fully trust and respect you if she knows you'll bend your own rules just to keep her around? And again, your boundaries aren't just about self-respect, even though self-respect is the most important thing. They're the foundation of genuine attraction. The moment you're truly willing to walk away rather than compromise them is often the moment that women become magnetically drawn to you. And the truth is that when you accept disrespect, you're actually being dishonest about your worth and value. You're creating a situation where you want this woman to view you as the prize and respect you, but you don't even value yourself. You're wanting her to value something that doesn't even exist to you. And the best situations are where women naturally align with your vision and respect your values, not where you conform to what she wants. And the other part of this goes back to losing the fear of being unfiltered and revealing who you actually are. Because nice guys are inherently deceptive in the sense that they will hide who they genuinely are because they fear not being accepted or they fear being rejected by the woman that they desire. So again, you're not actually being nice and you're not actually being a good guy or honest. You're just being fake and attempting to build relationships on false pretenses to hopefully get what you want. You're actually manipulating from a place of weakness because you're afraid to fully embody your masculinity, and when you try to make a perfect impression, you often make no impression at all. It's a faulty mindset that assumes that if you just do everything right, then attraction will follow. But remember that coming across as perfect is actually boring, and more importantly, it's just dishonest and unattractive. Now, if you're ready to stop wasting time on what doesn't work and you want a plan to succeed with women that is tailored to you so you can break free from these nice guy patterns and start landing dates consistently while also setting you up for long-term success, then be sure to click the first link in the description to fill out a quick application to work with me directly, and I will see you in the next one.